Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking to you guys about being yourself. I know that this is something that sounds just like so easy, you know what I mean? It sounds so simplistic in every way, but it's honestly very complicated. And the reason why it's complicated is because nobody's ever encouraged us to be ourselves. You know, I talked about how the older generations have let us down and the ways in which they've let us down, and it was not teaching us those core life lessons, you know what I mean, about like being courageous, you know, and standing up for what it is that you believe and what it is that you're passionate about and pursuing your dreams instead of following the crowd, you know what I mean? And I believe in today's society, it's more harder than ever to actually be yourself and do what it is that you love. And so many people hide behind the screens and they're really unhappy. And it's so evident and it shows up in their conversation. And I know that oftentimes we're around people who can very easily discourage us. And I want to tell you guys like straight up, as we're entering the last week of, I think next week is the 1st, right? So come February 1st, please, you guys, save yourself the trouble this year and distance yourself from anybody who's negative. You know, these are people who always have something negative to say no matter what. You know what I mean? And I think when you sit online and it's almost like a bot, and it's like you have these bots online and it's like you just sit on there and you just absorb all of this negative content and it essentially consumes you. And then you always have an opinion about somebody else's life. You always have a statement. I know so many people who are living lives like that aren't really true to themselves, or lives that don't really make them happy, but because it makes sense or because it looks good, they're okay with that. And it's almost like in their brains, they've convinced themselves that this is okay and this is what they really want. But it shows up in their spirit and it shows up in their fruit and their overall just energy. You know what I mean? And it's something that I notice every day, man, and it just really saddens me. And so I just say, if you're out here and you're doing something you're really passionate about and you're true to yourself, like, anybody can make money, y'all. Anybody can make money. Like, you can make money. It's not hard. All you got to do is get the systems in place, get a formula and go after it. And you know what I mean? Formulate a plan and execute. Like, it's not hard. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like being happy mentally and spiritually and like emotionally sound, I believe that right there is where people fall short. You know what I mean? Because that actually takes so much work. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to look at other people and talk about them and judge them and say, oh, this is that and this is that. Like, but you're not even happy within yourself. You know what I mean? I just think if you just listen to the conversations that people have, the most prettiest people online, most beautifulest people online, listen to the conversations that they have, and everything they have to say is negative. You know what I mean? You can tell them you want to do this, and this, and then they turn around and say why you shouldn't do it, or why it wouldn't work for them, or why they would never do it. And it's like, it's saddening, man. You know what I mean? And, yeah, so I think being yourself, it takes a lot of courage. Honestly, I think that in order to be an individual and show up, it takes so much courage. It's like I said, it's not anything that's taught. And when you're yourself, that's like real ridicule. You know what I mean? Because nobody can really criticize something that's pretentious. Like that's not going to move you. But like when you show up and you really, you really who you say you are, that takes a lot of courage. You know what I mean? Because you have people really attacking your character, and that's truth. You know what I mean? And so that's painful. And that right there takes a different level of just like transformation. You know what I mean? I think it's so important to learn from your life's experiences and just learn from life. So many people are online learning from memes, man. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And it's like the messages that are being spewed out here online, man, is sickening. It's like it's nothing more than just divide. It's nothing more than ego wars. You know what I mean? And it's so low vibrational, and it's like it's crazy. It's like it's so often you just want to just like step back from all of it and just really ask yourself like, what really matters to me, and is this worth it? You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where we have people who say, I don't know his name, you guys, and I'm so sorry. I don't know his name, but he literally was like, I think he was like the wealthiest man in the world, but he said he was the most unhappiest man in the world. I'm so sorry, I don't remember his name, but yeah, and I think what it is because you spend your life going after something, chasing something, and then you realize only to find that you're empty on the inside. I don't think you'll ever really be a happy person. I don't think you'll ever be a healthy person until you recognize yourself and you do what's true to you. You know what I mean? I don't think that happiness could even flow to you if you're not your authentic self, and what that looks like is just doing what it is that you want to do. And it looks like being on your own path and staying in your own lane. And I'm so thankful, like I say that so humbly, but I'm so thankful to have always been in that space where I can do that, never really in a space where I feel like I'm living my life to impress people. You know what I mean? And I have such a hard time understanding why people do that. You know what I mean? Why do people do that to themselves? I don't buy anything for people to look at me and say, oh, that's dope, I love fashion. I tell you guys that all the time. To me, it's nothing more than a form of expression and art. I told you guys my backstory about, my upbringing and why it was that I gravitated towards fashion and what it meant for me. You know what I mean? But like, that's all it is. You know what I mean? But it's like people are really out here allowing these things to define them. And that's crazy to me. And it makes so much sense why we go out our way to cover up, all of those ugly scars that's within us. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. And so it's just so important to do you. I don't think you'll ever be happy with yourself until you make your own decisions and you do what's true to you. You know what I mean? And seasons change, plans change, you know what I mean? But I believe that end goal is purpose, and that end goal is your why, and that end goal is bigger than you. And as long as you can keep that in mind and carry that with you through every season and every change and everything, every stage rather that you go through in life, then that's golden. I think it's that right there that makes life all the more exciting. It makes it all worthwhile in the end. And you look back and you realize, like, man, I was serving my purpose in that season, and I was doing that in that season, even though if it was at a smaller scale, even though it was, in a different space like that. Like, it's crazy. But one of the things that I love about just like us as a collective being in a space where we're talking about like consciousness and spirituality is that for the first time, I really feel like life really forces people to change. You know what I mean? It's like life is like change or die. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like life will bring you so low, you know what I mean, in order to catapult you in the way in which you should go. And so I think that right there is like, that gives me so much hope and joy, just for the freedom of humanity. Because right now what I'm seeing, man, is crazy. It's so crazy. And, doing anything for other people will never bring you happiness. It's sad. It's just so crazy, man. So many people out here lost, so many lost souls, so many people who are just out here. They have no clue. They have no clue. They haven't even stopped and really thought about it. And I think, like I said, what you convince yourself of, you'll start to believe it, right? That's what we talk about. Like there is, power in positive thinking, because the mind is so powerful that whatever you choose to believe and convince yourself of it, it becomes true. And so you have people out here who feel like I am happy or I am this, and deep down inside they're miserable. They're sullen. You know what I mean? And like I said, that shows up in everything that they do. And so I think finding people who are in a space of just like calmness or, peace and serenity, I think is rare. But I think that people come into our lives for a reason. And so I feel like, it's possible to meet these people, but I definitely think it's something that's rare. And oftentimes I feel that these people are typically ones that are kind of taken for granted in a sense. But I don't know. I also feel like they're kind of like loners because they understand. But yeah, man, if you have people around you that are positive, you're so lucky. You know what I mean? And oftentimes it's not going to be many people. That's not what I've found, at least not in this season in my life or the previous seasons, maybe location. I don't know what, I don't know every determining factor as to why that is. But as I continue to grow and as I continue to ascend, I realize just the importance of that. And so if you have people in your life that are positive, that's all you need. You know what I mean? Because I feel like being in your 20s, there's no greater advantage than youth. And maximizing on your time and trying things, most importantly, is key. If you don't ever try something, you don't really know what will work. And so the last thing you want to do is be around people who shoot down every idea, because God has given you those ideas for a reason, and that's something that's true to yourself. Your imagination is key, right? And it's like, that's like the compass your soul and to your destiny and what's for you. Those visions are totally real, especially if it's something that you're passionate about and it's, pulling you in a certain direction that is beneficial to humanity and to your overall self-evolution. That is so important, and so you don't need to be around people who are going to tell you to do the opposite, and most importantly, man, like I said, it all goes back to mental. I was sitting here with myself. I'm like, man, there's so much that I got to unlearn, because the thing is about me, it's like I love learning. And so I went and I learned so much from different mentors and people and all of these things. But it was like, okay, wait, I can't take that with me this season. Like, this is a new season, and this is going to require new insight. This is going to require new strategies. This is going to require just so much more than what I know right now. And it was very frightening. Honestly, it was very frightening. But I realized, like, trying to retreat, it was almost like self-sabotaging in a way, trying to go back to those old methods and those old ideologies, just how I was moving. I was like, I can't move like that right now, because I think that I know that this is a different season, and I know that moving like this is going to sabotage anything that is here to push me forward in the ways in which I want to go. And so I think that's important. And yeah, so I hope everybody's having a great day. It was snowing today. It was really beautiful to watch the snow fall from my apartment. I definitely was like very thankful for that. Now it's like gray and it's gloomy and it's 8:00. So, but yeah, you guys, like, please hang around people who are positive and people who support you. As long as the idea is not self-destructive, and it's not anything that's gonna harm anybody. Like, support your friends, but do it in a space that's like real genuine. I think that people, I don't know, I heard this once and I'm not really sure if it's true, but it definitely made me think. It made me think, and I'm going to share it with you guys. It's like, there's this thing that people kind of do where, like, they will support what kind of seems like it's going to succeed in this season, but like the longevity of it is a flop. But like something that's real grand and like withstanding, you know what I mean? It's almost like people get intimidated by that and they don't really want to like support that. And so I don't know. I'm going to leave you guys with that, and I'll let you guys think. I'll leave you guys with your thoughts on that one. But yeah, y'all, it's crazy out here. So be yourself, make your own decisions, and don't look at the lives of nobody online, because I'm telling you, I've seen it, you guys. I've seen it with my own eyes, the people behind these screens. They're not happy, and you have some people who are happy, but that's for you to discern, and that's for you to be in a space where hey, I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts on that too. But I'm just saying, like, overall, please be yourself. You will never, ever be happy until you be yourself, until you be in a space where you're courageous and, you can own your stuff. I think oftentimes, too, like, we want to talk to people about certain things, and then people try to come up with this whole, like, protect your peace, or, people have a hard time being there for other people. But like I said, society has totally bred a bunch of narcissists and just, like, people who are just real selfish. You know what I mean? People really only think for themselves. And so it's not a matter of crossing boundaries, right? Don't ever like disrespect someone's boundaries. But if you're in a space, you're real and you showing up and you're like, hey, I got this stuff, you know what I mean? And people are making you feel uncomfortable, or people are making you feel like, you're the only one. Get away from those people. You know what I mean? And it's so important that you own your stuff and you own what it is that you've been through, because you need to accept yourself. That to me, that's real love. You know what I mean? That's real self-love, like self-acceptance, you know what I mean? And the peace within yourself, and just the strength and the ability to be able to talk about certain things. Like that's where the courage comes from. And overall, you need that in order to be yourself and to do anything in life, really. So I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts, and be yourself. Please be yourself. Show up. Be authentically you, because you are beautiful and you are unique.